Right, so I've now got a letter from Professional Standard. Inspector Lara Lovett. You all remember her. Another liar. Criminal proceedings have ended. So that's it. So they've done me for assault of a police officer. Forget the other fucking charges that were on there, right? But there was 3. Because they came round with the malicious communication or whatever it was, and then it all went to Crown Court and they changed the charges round, and I never pled to anything. So then instead of that one, there was 2 others. So there was 3. But criminal proceedings have now ended. So they've obviously, after last week, they've obviously now completely dropped those other 2 charges. Presumably because Chris Green, the Marston's bailiffs, who no longer works for Marston Bailiffs, is a fucking lying bastard. And they really can't get anywhere with that. Because I did plead to the assault on the police officer in Magistrates Court. But really, after it had gone to Crown Court and then gone back again, and I never pled to any charges in Crown Court, so I haven't pled to any charges. So they finished criminal proceedings. So they finished the proceedings, which started with the charges of malicious conduct, whatever it was, right, which ended up, and resulted obviously in assault on a police officer, when I creased PC Dean's bulletproof vest by defending myself, and then he cried all day. Which never would have happened, obviously, if they hadn't been following up completely unlawful fucking charges in the first place. You see the fucking irony here. So she's listing my complaints. So I'm going to do this. I've written back to her. So I'll do this. I'll do her complaint and then my answer. Mr. Dacus is alleging that when he was arrested on 24th March, the behaviour of one of the officers was threatening towards him, and both officers used force as they tried to force him into a wrist lock and handcuffed him unnecessarily. So I've put, Dear Inspector Lara Lovett, thank you for your letter. Unfortunately, your synopsis is inaccurate. I shall deal with your points one at a time, since you were clearly not that bright. 1. The officers walked into my house without invitation on a charge which has now been clearly dropped. This was an indictable charge for which they did not have a warrant of arrest, and later fell back on pace regulation, which meant they had 10 weeks to get a warrant and filled to do so. I consider my life to be in danger, as so many people have been murdered in police cells lately. Have you heard now? There's one in Grays or Tilbury or somewhere. Guys died in police cells. Another one. They're just murdering fucking bastards, really, aren't they? Who knew what the psychopaths at my door were capable of? They then attempted to unlawfully assault me, as the arrest was unlawful. If you can't understand that, you must be stupider than a small squirrel who's forgotten where he's buried his nuts. So then she put, Mr. Dacus is alleging that when he was arrested, the officers failed to inform the reasons of his arrest, and was kept in custody longer than necessary and was not interviewed until midnight. Well, let's face it, last November I was kept in the cells for like 3 days. So I'm not overly bothered about the cell point at the moment. The officers turned up at my door and said I'd called someone a Nazi. As it turns out, this was Chris Green, who has now lost his job because he is a liar who exceeds his authority and who also lies about the law. This makes him a Nazi. This means your officers were... Turn the page, Paul. God's sake. Arresting me for telling the truth. This act is also defined as living in a dictatorship. The police and the CPS are now the enemy of the people, make no mistake. I'm quite fucking serious. Mr. Dacus is alleging that PC 696 Harman has signed a statement that does not represent the true facts of the case. I'm not alleging anything. PC Harman has signed a statement which does not represent the truth. In an attempt to cover this up, evidence has clearly been tampered with, as proven on the Paul Dacus channel on YouTube. The CPS have now gone to court with a witness who is a liar and ignored evidence which has clearly been tampered with. The CPS therefore are now guilty of perverting the course of justice, and Amber Rudd MP, the Home Secretary, is complicit. Mr. Dacus is alleging that following his arrest, his mobile phone has been seized without sufficient reason, and he was given no indication of when he may get it back. Again, I'm not alleging anything. No reason other than analytics was given for the theft of my mobile phone, and this was previously discussed in the police transit on the way to the station, as proven by PC Dean's body cam, which means it was deliberate theft, orchestrated by Sergeant Street, I would imagine, since he ordered my unlawful arrest. Neither was any receipt for my property given, which again is theft. So then they go on to, they've got to follow the correct procedure and all that, so we're just going to put some stuff in here that suggests that we're actually law-abiding citizens, when in fact Cambridgeshire Police are just a bunch of law-breaking fucking Nazis. I'm quite serious. To establish whether policies and procedures were followed in relation to in the policing of these incidents. No policies or procedures were followed during this unlawful arrest. PC Dean advanced upon me in my own house in an aggressive manner when I did not know what was going on. All police officers are thugs and bullies. To establish if there are any organisational or individual learning opportunities identified during this investigation. They love this shit. Right? It makes them look like they're doing their fucking job, when in fact they're doing fuck all. They're sitting in the station with a finger up their fucking arse, fucking fingering each other's arses. Learning opportunities. Learning opportunities may include not protecting your Bent council mates who have committed 25 years of theft from the public purse, all backed up by the Bent Chief Constable Alec Wood, who is vicariously liable for his troops' actions. He must now be arrested and charged with gross misconduct in public office. To determine whether any officer has breached the standards of professional behaviour. That's when they come round and go, "You're got, mate." Instead of going like, "You have the right to remain silent, blah, blah, blah." Oh, fuck the rights. Well, forget all that shit. We're the coppers, we can do anything we want. I was assaulted by PC Dean and PC Lester. PC Harman is a liar. DC Pinion seems to think a warrant of arrest only has to have the address of the registered residence. Turn the page, Paul. For it to be lawful. Chief Constable Alec Wood puts his name on unlawful court summons. The CPS are both conspired to pervert the course of justice and perverted the course of justice, and you're a lying bitch as well. Cheers. To consider whether this investigation should have been referred to the Crown Prosecution Service. See above point. You're all liars, psychopaths, and all in it together. Does that sound a bit cynical? To investigate the circumstances surrounding the complaint allegations made by Mr. Dacus. The circumstances are you're trying to protect your bent thieving mates at Huntingdonshire District Council and your bent bailiff mates who break the law every day and steal from people. Please see point 10. Now she has written no more. So this is point 10. I have not signed this document. This is what they call local resolution. So they can just cover it all up. Point 10. Because you're all dictators who delight in stamping on the public who you see as scum, and on a daily basis you crap on the Allied war graves as you attempt to enforce the rule which Hitler failed to do. I hope you will understand I'm not signing your form, but I will send it back to you once I've copied it as more evidence of your corruption. Sincerely and in disgust. So there's a few of these. These are copies. They'll be going out to a few people. Inspector Liar love it. So they've actually dropped the charge, which they changed twice, to take it to court. And they've done me on the other charge, which wouldn't have happened unless they hadn't unlawfully followed up the first charge. This is British justice today. I'm going back to work. See you later.